Not all records are made to be broken. Football is a perfect example of this, as many NFL records of yesteryear are untouchable today because the game has changed so much since when the records were first set. Rules are different, styles evolve, and the environment in which records were set no longer exists. From game and season records to multi-season and career marks, these are the NFL records that never will be broken. First up, we have Brett Favre's 336 interceptions. There may be more gunslingers like Brett Favre that come along, but none of them will have the durability or longevity that number 4 had. He led the NFL in interceptions as a 24-year-old and as a 39-year-old, as the NFL teams took the good with the bad with Favre. With the current NFL era of short to intermediate passes being prevalent, quarterbacks don't take as many chances downfield and thus don't throw as many picks. Eli Manning would be Favre's closest competition among active quarterbacks, but he's nearly 100 interceptions behind Favre and doesn't have too many more passes left in his career. Next up, we have Emmitt Smith's 4,409 rushing attempts. If Barry Sanders had stuck around 2 more seasons, he would be the NFL's rushing king, so there is a chance that Smith's rushing yards record could be touched. However, no one in the near future is going to carry the rock as much as Smith. Teams just don't rely on one running back as much as they did during the 1990s, and teams don't rely on the run, period, as much as they once did. Smith had at least 365 carries in a season 4 times in his career, while only one running back, DeMarco Murray, reached that number over the last decade. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills losing 4 straight Super Bowls. You could have a convincing argument that a team will win 4 straight Super Bowls before another team loses 4 straight Super Bowls. The football gods did not like Buffalo in the early 1990s, and after their 1-point wide right loss in Super Bowl 25, the Bills weren't even competitive in the next 3 Super Bowls. Their average margin of defeat in those 4 games was 16.5 points, and that includes the 1-point loss in the 1990 season. But hey, they still have those AFC champion banners and trophies that have to make players and fans alike sick whenever they see the team. Next up, we have Jerry Rice's 22,895 receiving yards. There are many Jerry Rice records that will never be touched, but this one has the most distance between Rice and everyone else. Larry Fitzgerald is second all-time in receiving yards and is still active, but he would need to play roughly 7 more seasons to pass Rice. What enabled Rice to reach his historic mark was his production when many players fall off a cliff. After turning 30 years old, Rice had nearly 14,000 yards, which would put him in the Hall of Fame alone if he never took a snap in his 20s. Next up, we have Big Ben Roethlisberger's 2-game streak with at least 6 touchdowns. Only 9 quarterbacks in NFL history have had multiple 6-touchdown games in their entire careers, and only 3 of those quarterbacks have accomplished the feat in the same season. The last to do it was Patrick Mahomes in 2018, so it's possible for another quarterback to match Big Ben's record of back-to-back 6-touchdown games, but breaking that record is another story. It's sort of like a no-hitter in baseball. It's possible for a pitcher to throw 2 in a row, but 3 no-hitters in a row? No way. The same applies here. Someone could have a hot couple days and match Roethlisberger's mark, but I don't see someone throwing 6 touchdowns in 3 straight games, even in today's NFL. Next up, we have Tom Brady's 5 touchdown passes in 1 quarter. When the Titans traveled from Nashville to Foxborough in October of 2009, they were expecting a normal fall Sunday in the Northeast. But instead, the city was hit with an earlier than usual snowstorm, and then the Titans were hit with a Tom Brady avalanche. In the second quarter, Brady hooked up with Randy Moss for a touchdown. After a fumble on the next offensive play by Tennessee, New England regained possession, and Brady hit Moss again for a score. A Titans 3-and-out was followed by another Brady touchdown. Yet another 3-and-out for the Titans was then followed by a 4th passing touchdown by Brady. After a 3rd straight 3-and-out by Tennessee, Brady hit Wes Welker for his 5th passing touchdown of the quarter, which put New England up 45-0 at halftime. It's hard to fathom this record being broken due to the fact that most teams don't even get 6 possessions in a single quarter. It took some grade A incompetence by the Titans for Brady to set this record. Last up, we have Sebastian Janikowski's 76-yard field goal attempt. This is an unofficial record, but there's video evidence that it happened, and the kick landed about 10 to 11 yards short. Though the NFL doesn't keep track of the longest missed kicks in history, it's hard to imagine that anyone attempted one longer, and it's hard to imagine that anyone will attempt anyone longer. This seems like one of those things that the late Al Davis called for, as he was still alive when it happened, and Davis enjoyed making headlines for records. Case in point, Davis drafted a 7-foot-tall former college basketball player named Richard Sly in 1967. Sly played just 8 NFL games and was more of a publicity stunt than an actual player, but he remains the tallest player in NFL history. Mr. Davis just loved it whenever his team drew attention. That's it for today's Sports Mafia video. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments which NFL record you think is the most unbreakable. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.